Tuesday night, Renew US. We have a football stadium background. We have Studio 5 up. We have Del Didway standing by in the green room. We shall be transferring to Studio 5 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Renew US. We do it right here on PJNet Live each Tuesday night about this time. And it's always an uplifting time, an encouraging time, a time to set aside all that crap out there. We get together and have some great fellowship among some really flag-waving, patriotic believers in Christ, and it's great. It's a great time. I hope that you will make arrangements if you're watching this on social media or possibly on YouTube. If you go to patriotjournalist.com on Tuesday nights, we do it live. We'd love to have you join us. You can go in the chat room and kind of, talk to us, things like that. And each Tuesday night, we have a successful writer, blogger, and the world's most interesting person, Del Didway. Good to see you, Del.
Thanks. Good to be here again.
Oh, man. We do want to talk about your blog, but I've been talking to you throughout, earlier today and then in the green room. The only thing you're talking about is what you did yesterday. So why don't you share that with us?
I went to my favorite event of the whole year, aside from other things, my grandkids and like that. But as far as professional events go, sporting events go, I've been to every event in the world. And first time I've ever been able to go to this event in person, because I love this event. It's my favorite event. It's the Home Run Derby of Major League Baseball All-Star Week. Typically on every year on that night, I grab either make a pizza, a homemade pizza, and get the kitchen all dirty and messy up, and sit down and watch the Home Run Derby. And because I'm typically by myself, so I just like to watch it. It's my night. It's Del's night. I shut everything off and watch the Home Run Derby. Okay. So this year it's in Cleveland, Ohio, All-Star Weekend. So I jaunted up there yesterday, and got to watch it in person. And one of the best parts of it was I had a piece of pizza, but the best part was this awesome hot dog with macaroni and cheese and bacon, and it made the whole trip worthwhile. But it was a fun, great event last night. I was going to stay for the All-Star game, but really I got everything done I needed to get done yesterday. So I came home this morning, and I wasn't going to be able to do the show from there anyway. So because of the Major League Baseball restrictions on streaming anything other than the game. So Fox has a monopoly on that. Mm-hmm. It's understandable. They pay for it.
Well, it sounds like what we need to do next year, given the menu that you're describing that you have to eat, we'll go ahead and call 911 and stage up the ambulance.
Man, awesome.
Wherever they have it next year. Now, help this football coach understand what the heck is a home run derby.
Home run derby is the funnest event, and I think all sports. It's they have eight players who qualify to be entered this contest, who round by round hit the most home runs within a given time slot. Mm-hmm. And it's the fans love it. It's thrilling. If you love home runs, and there's something about it, and these guys can just these professionals just are tremendous athletes and just hit so many home runs over it's all for the fans. It's complete for the fans to hit as many home runs as they can hit.
So what do they do? Just go out there and swing the bat? They got a machine pitching the ball?
No. They're pitching live, and it's competition. There's money involved, and they have the first round. They have 4 minutes. Whoever hits the most home runs advances, and they just keep going and going and going until there's a winner. So it's just a lot of fun. Last 3 hours last night. We're there 3 hours. Some guy from the Mets won. So I'm kidding.
It doesn't matter because they have to do it again next year anyway. It's never settled. It's kind of like the Super Bowl,
It's just a fun event. Everybody loves it, and it's just a time for the fans to just enjoy the game and enjoy the festivities of the All-Star Weekend, and just a blast. Because people, if you go to a baseball game, you want to see a home run. I think Vlad Guerrero Jr. last night hit 91 total home runs during the night. So he was probably exhausted. He didn't win. So, it was just a blast. It was just a fun evening. Yeah, saw so many kids and their dads and And we were able to go down on the field prior to that and watch him do some practice home runs, and it was just fun, just a fun event. Glad to be there. Glad to be. Went over to the convention center prior to that game, prior to the event. Was able to get the interviews I was able to get done. I had 5 guys I wanted to talk to, and for my next book. And
So who'd you talk to? Or are you not allowed to disclose that?
No, I'll keep that a secret. So there were 4 of them I was able to get to. So I was very successful in that and was very happy. So I thought, hey, I got everything I wanted to get, and I'm gonna go to the Derby now and get some pizza and want a hot dog and just watch some home runs.
Folks, if I get his address, we'll just send pizza to
Yes.
Dell. I love pizza. Nothing, and you know what? Pizza's good cold. The next day it's a great breakfast.
It's awesome. Yes, it's awesome. So
yeah.
had a good couple of slices last night, but that hot dog was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Mac and cheese and bacon
On a hot dog.
on a hot dog.
Did you put some mayonnaise on there no, that's too fattening. That's too fattening.
Yeah, I gotta watch my weight.
All right. Well, hey, you got home in time to.
I froze up there.
Yeah, it froze up for a minute. Well, it gave you time to take a hit of that caffeine.
Yeah.
Because
but no, you talk patriotism. I mean, there's nothing more patriotic than watching baseball and hitting home runs and things like that. So it was a great evening. Everybody stood for the flag and everybody sang the national anthem. It was just a great evening last night. So really had a great time.
Oh, folks. So that you got home early, that gave you some time to just relax and work on your blog. Today, your blog talks about some time you spent with Tim Tebow.
Oh yeah, it was. I think we talked about that a few weeks ago. I was able to get some time with Tim, and the whole premise of it was about his event that he does, and why people need to do other things, and they need to be involved and volunteer, give back, and that's what his whole charity is about: is giving back and sacrificing and making time for others, because that's what it's all about. I made the point in my blog. You can put your phone down for a little bit. You can turn off the TV for a little bit. I don't know the last time I've even watched a television show. And just do that, because giving back is what it's about. It's more important. And when we went and volunteered at his event, I was a little apprehensive at first. I didn't know what to expect. And by the time we left, we said, sign us up next year. We'll be back. We're going to do some more events. I shine shoes. I put on my tuxedo and shine shoes for 2 hours of guys coming in wanting to make sure the shoes looked good for the prom. And just was a real blessing to me. It made me feel really fortunate, and to make them smile. I would look up to them. I'm on my knees, shining shoes, looking up at them, and they got this great big grin on their face. And in some cases, I shine tennis shoes. All right, so yeah.
Well, you can get some white chalk, like they put on the tire, the white lettering.
Yeah.
Remember that stuff?
Yeah.
Back when white letter tires were cool.
Yeah. So I probably shined 30, 40 people with their shoes, so 60 shoes. But had a blast doing it. Felt really, as Tim said, you feel better when you do that. And we did. We felt, wow, this is a really humbling experience, and I felt great. And not great, I just felt good about myself that I was able to put a smile on some people's faces. And, he said, love people that a lot of the world doesn't love. And tell you what, it was just a really eye-opening, heartwarming experience for us. We're definitely going to do it again. And we're going to really promote it again. So
now, this was all done by the Tim Tebow Foundation, but Tim wasn't actually at this one.
Not at that one. He makes an appearance at one throughout the country. He may go to 1 or 2 events that night, because it's only that one night. So they're all over the country. And so I personally invited him to Huntington, West Virginia next year. When I was there, I said, hey, you got to come to Huntington, West Virginia now. And he goes and he laughed. He says, yeah, who knows? He may pop in next year. So, but nobody knows till that afternoon where he's going.
Well, I cannot think of a time that I have sacrificed or given of my time that when it was all said and done, I felt bad about it. I've always felt like, there's a chance to I think it's a good way. I think it's the way we are commanded to live our lives. And the thing that drives me is, one day, Dale, we're going to be in a box in front of a pulpit, and they're going to say nice things about us. So what nice things, I want said about me is that I gave and left this place a little better than I came into it. And anytime you make an act of charity or kindness, a random act of kindness, you never know the impact of that, because you really don't know the circumstances that people are living in if they're a stranger. They don't generally show it on the outside. We kind of wear a mask, to hide the hurt, from showing through. But the spiritual point that you make in your blog is that time is a resource that cannot be, the way I tweeted it, you really can't save time. You can only invest it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it's the most priceless thing we have. I mean, it's the most valuable thing we have, because we'll never get it back. And it's, what else can you give but your time to somebody? And if you give that, you're giving everything you have, because we write checks that takes 6 seconds to write a check. But when you go and spend time and let people know you really care about them, it does make you feel good. And we didn't do it for that. We did it to help people. But in the end result, I felt good about myself. And I'm being selfish, I guess, but I liked how I felt when I shut that door and turned on the car to go home. I thought, because I thought to myself, I'm not in this situation. My kids aren't in this situation, but they could be, and I would want people to help them. I want people to make them feel good, make them feel special, and give parents a break. And that's what the whole night did. And it was I've never seen so many volunteers in my life. I've been to a lot of events and volunteers. Never seen nothing like this. Never seen such an operation of caring like that. And I was able to thank Tim for it and talk to him about the foundation, about the night. And it was a great meeting we had. And I was able to be in contact with him now. So I'm very fortunate now that we've established a little relationship. Mm-hmm. So I admire what he does, and he gets a lot of grief. But I tell you what, when he's getting off that bus, hundreds of people are lined up to see him and mm-hmm. talk to him. So there's people want that. People are longing for that. I know some of the major media makes fun of him a lot, mm-hmm. but there's a reason why when he gets off the bus at a minor league baseball game, mm-hmm. that there's 500 people wanting to get his autograph because people are starved for that, and they want to hear encouragement, they want to hear hope, and they like it.
Well, to sell tickets at a minor league game, you say Tim Tebow is going to be in the parking lot at this time, and oh, by the way, we're going to have a ball game after that.
Yeah, it's kind of like a magnet. So it was, what I said earlier about a couple weeks ago when I did that blog about Kurt Warner. I mean, when he professed Christ on national television and the stadium goes nuts, and then the major media kind of makes fun of it. People love that. Mm-hmm. Colin Kaepernick can take a knee and he's given to be a hero. Tim Tebow takes a knee in a football game and he's told not to do it.
Yeah.
It's just, that's the mentality of this world.
I saw a good one. I think it was on Facebook. Next time, that somebody takes a knee during the national anthem, just stop the music and say, mm-hmm. well, now that we're kneeling, let's have prayer.
Yeah, really. I know. Yeah. So, the whole thing about time is give it. And we've noticed here that the last year, since our boys have been moved out, we're doing a lot more. I don't even know why and I'm not against television. I like TV. I just don't watch it anymore. I don't have time to watch it. And we're going to downsize and get rid of it. But there's a time you have to relax, and I get that. I do that. But what you do, you're sacrificing, you're taking time, you're doing. And you said you want to leave this world better. You are. You're doing things. You're trying to get the word out, and you're sacrificing every night, and we appreciate that. What I'm doing is spending hours and hours writing, mm-hmm. and to me, and a lot of my writing is to me. It is a lot of my writing is trying to talk to myself, and it's therapy for me. And I release things.
It is,
and I just happen to be able to share it. Now I have a venue to share it with, and that's great because I'm I'm trying every time I write something like that. I'm like, oh, I need to read this again. This is for Dell.
Yeah. Well, you need to read it too. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
earlier you were talking about how giving of our time, and some
Mm-hmm.
people are very generous with their money.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but something that I kind of woke up to in working in disaster relief, especially when a hurricane is inbound. People, our biggest need, Dale, really the biggest need we have is not money.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, let me just give a shout out for Southern Baptist Disaster Relief. That is a part of the ministry year round. We have a thing called the cooperative program. Each Southern Baptist church gives some money to the cooperative program, and that money is spent in a lot of ways on various missions, one of them being disaster relief. In other words, we do not wait for a disaster to prepare for that disaster. So we have, oh gosh, we got stuff. Let me wind that one up. Okay, our biggest need is help, volunteers. So when the hurricane approaches, people, will be asking, for help, and many people will say something to the effect of, "Well, I can't go, but I would like to write a check and designate it to disaster relief." Dell, honestly, we are grateful and we honestly cash the check. Okay, but here is something that struck me. The Great Commission doesn't say, "Send ye." It says, "Go ye." So it's good to be generous with your resources financially. It really is. Okay, that's important.
Mm-hmm.
But if that is a substitute for giving of your time, I think you have a stewardship problem.
Yeah, yeah, and again, what you said, there's times we support a missionary over in Israel. Um, I can't go there, but we
Mm-hmm.
help. So there are instances when writing a check is appropriate, but yeah, you need to you
Yeah.
need to do something. You need to go.
Don't
I
do
would
that
love to
as
go
a
to.
substitute for
Right, you do it.
involvement.
Yeah, as a last resort. If you can't physically go there, then help them financially. And but I would, one of my goals, my bucket list, is to go on a mission field. Is to go to on a mission trip. I would love that.
Have you have
Uh,
have you not been?
I have not been.
Dale,
Have
I can
doing some
I can
mission.
assure you, you will never be the
Mhm.
same.
Well, I've heard
You'll
that.
never be
Everybody
the
I know.
same. I promise
So
you. Okay.
there has to be a mission field on a golf course somewhere. So
the
I'm kidding.
Sometimes I would be brought into churches to speak on disaster relief, and I would
Hmm.
bring. We would buy cases, grosses of work gloves,
Hmm.
and I would tell that church, when you give to your part of your offering in this church goes to the cooperative program, and in the cooperative program we're able to buy in bulk. And I said, let me show you something, and I would hold up a glove or a pair of gloves, and I would say, we buy these by the gross, by the cases. We've got them stacked to the ceiling in our warehouse in Jacksonville. I said, but without a hand inside this glove, it's no good.
Hmm.
It's
Right.
no good.
Hmm.
And it really, I don't know, maybe I made some people mad, but the truth is the truth. Okay,
Yeah.
giving
Well,
time. You ever wanted? We're all busy. I don't know anybody that doesn't at least say that they're busy and I don't have time. And the old adage is, well, you've got 24 hours a day, just like the rest of us. But here,
mhm.
I think, as a football coach, time. One of the reasons I have such contempt for baseball and love football is baseball has no clock.
Yeah.
Okay, in football, the clock is always running. You say, well, wait a minute. There's a timeout.
Hmm.
Sir, when you call timeout, another clock starts running. How long is
Hmm.
that timeout?
Right. Right.
Okay, the
Right. Right.
timeout's not until you say, okay, ref, we're ready to play again. Nope. You have your 1 minute for a timeout. So the clock is always running, and that's the same way it is in life. Uh, Sometimes I would like to just call timeout. You know? Have you ever felt
Oh,
that way?
every day. Every day. One of the guys in my book, that got devotions, is Brian Dozier. Brian's a um, all-star second baseman for Washington now. But I interviewed him. He was with Minnesota. he told me the story when he went on a mission trip, and he said it changed. And he said the same thing. It changed my life. He said, "Here I am. This, I make all this money. I'm a baseball player, but he said I spent a week digging a ditch."
Mm-hmm.
He said from 7 o'clock to 7 o'clock, and he said he loved it, and he went back next year and did the same thing.
You can't go
No,
wrong.
no.
I remember, and Gina's in the chat room. She went on a mission trip to Israel,
Mm-hmm.
and she was kind enough and generous enough to share about it on a show one night. And man, that video traveled like crazy.
Yeah.
It was really good.
So that's on my list. I mean, I'm not looking for compliments, but I think kind of what I'm doing is my own little mission field. I mean,
It is.
I'm sending out. I mean, I get responses from people right from the Huffington Post,
Mm-hmm.
and who don't necessarily agree with me, and
Probably not.
maybe not. But I get correspondence from them saying they read it,
Mm-hmm.
and if I can affect them, have them read my stuff, at least they're seeing it, at least they're reading it, and then what they do after that, it's up to them. But if I can get the word to them, get a message to them of hope, and that's what Tim's doing. Tim Tebow's doing that. He's giving a message of hope, and people want that. That's why he's so popular.
Well, we need it, and the
Yeah.
good news is, no matter how well, let me talk about stress. And calling time out in life.
Mm-hmm.
When you feel like you want to call time out in life, what's really happening here is the clinical definition of stress. What that means is that demands exceed resources.
Mm-hmm.
That is the definition of stress. Now, oftentimes we say, I'm stressed. Actually, that's not your problem. Your problem is that you are distressed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You have got what is called in clinical psychology a catatonic method of dealing with your stress. By the way, stress, if it weren't for stress, life would be extremely dull. And
Oh
if you
man.
don't believe it, even if you are watching television, if you are watching a drama, okay, there's a certain amount of stress because you're trying to figure out what's going to happen next. And they put little turns and detours in a suspense drama, especially. But every competitive sport is a type of stress.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you watch these things, you get excited, you run this emotional roller coaster. And I remember we were having a meeting one time, of athletic committee meeting type thing at high school, and this one just very supportive mom, she was really getting kind of burned out on all the stress, and she says, I'm just tired of the emotional roller coaster involved in all these sports. And I looked at her, I said, Angie, that's what football is.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think you signed up for?
Mm-hmm.
There's high moments and there's low moments. It's not the high and the low, it's how you deal with the highs and the low.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen success or victories really show the worst in some people.
Yeah.
You can always tell the character of a football team. For example, a championship team, you say, they got a lot of character. That's part of what makes them a champion. And I thought, well, yeah, maybe so, but let me see how they act when they're behind. Let me see how they act when they lose. See, that's the test of your character, because Zig Ziglar said, character like a tree, man like a tree, is easier to measure when down. And that's the point of sports, and that's why I think sports, even baseball, okay, gives you an opportunity to find out, what's in people's hearts. What are these people made of? They train. We watch the game, and you were talking about your blog. We read your 600 or 800 words, but what we don't know is how much time went in, the investment of time that went into that. I don't want to hazard a guess. How many hours do you think it takes to put together a weekly blog of 600 to 800 words?
Well, that one, I can tell you this, took weeks, because it took me weeks to get to Tim Tebow.
Mm-hmm.
It took me hours of waiting at the game for 3 minutes with him. I got the Ball Stadium at 3 o'clock. I didn't get to Tim till I got there about 2 o'clock, and I didn't get to him till 6:30. and didn't even know if I was going to get to him or not. So weeks of corresponding, hours of waiting for something that took you 3 minutes to read.
Mm-hmm.
But it was worth it.
I know when I put together a video, you'll see 2 or 3 minutes of video, but there's hours and hours and hours that go into putting it, especially when you have to look at one I did recently. I said, well, send me some of your live, where you're speaking engagements. Well, I've got to watch 6 hours of speaking engagements and look for those little 5 to 10 second sound bites. But I want to watch them all because I want to get the best, or what I believe to be the best. And you could go ahead and get 2 or 3 out of there and say, oh, that's enough to do the video. But how do you know you got the best?
Yeah.
If you didn't watch them all. So that's a lot of time.
Yeah.
It takes.
It takes a lot of time, but it's fun, and that's why I do it. I enjoy it. I do it every week. That's just one thing I write, and I write for our local newspaper once a week. I write for Athletes in Action. I write for our local magazines. So I'm constantly doing something. But the books, I forgot about the books. I write that all the time too.
Yeah, we're going to talk about your book, and we got a few minutes left. Let me quickly give a shout out to some people that give their time. They come here week after week after week. Want to give a shout out to Canton Tweet. She is here with us tonight. And Hazards 4 with us. Tammy from Georgia is here, who I hurt her feelings saying I only knew of 2 great people out of the great state of Indiana while Michelle was on the air. Sorry, Tammy. I had a senior moment. But I appreciate the time. I put that up on the screen and didn't. Oh. You don't know what I look at here. Okay, I've got stimuli all around me, but there is our chat room. I am proud of our team. I am proud of the time that you all give to advance. What we're doing here isn't about Dell. It's not about me, and it's really not about the people that come here. We come here to give of our time, to offer encouragement, to offer hope, and to strengthen not only one another, but all those that we come in contact with. In the closing minutes, Dale, you are just outside of 3 weeks from a brand new book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, August 5th, First Down Devotions comes out. We're excited about that. We've got a lot of events planned over there. We've got a couple of book signings we're going to be doing the next couple of weeks with those. We're starting to promote it now. We're going to get a launch team messages out to them this week about what to be doing. It's not a lot of work. It's just retweeting or reposting things I send out, doing reviews. It doesn't take much time at all. In fact, it doesn't take much time, but it takes time. And so we really appreciate that. But that's happening August 5th. We're getting ready to submit another book at the end of this month. For anybody who's an Alabama fan will be interested in this book. So we're about ready to submit it. We write it. I'm doing a chapter a day, and I've got just a few more chapters left. I'm done. So we're excited about that. Then starting on another one. I'll be done in September. Then 2 more after that. And I got Devotions Volume 2. So I start on that. And then First Down Devotions Volume 2. We start on that right away. So
the first one's not even out, and you're working on the second one.
Yeah, I've got all the interviews done. I'll start writing it soon. Yeah, first one. Yeah, that'll be for 2021, and from New Hope Publishers. So be on the lookout for those. And we submitted with Michelle the Indiana book, and then with Kyle the Michigan book. So those are all in, and we're gonna keep writing. A lot of fun.
Well, you can do one on FSU. I just don't know if you can find any that aren't in jail.
They're all be a great print now. I've better watch that. So.
They call it the FSU criminals.
Yeah. And then they all end up with the Bengals. So anyway, and so we'll be going down to the Bengals games really soon, working on Volume 2. So a lot going on. But First Down Devotions again comes out August 5th from New Hope Publishers. It's available for pre-order on Amazon, on New Hope Publishers, and we're looking forward to a good launch on that. That'll be on August 5th.
I'm going to put your website up there, hopefully your website. It's funny because I have pre-ordered, but in doing so, they have my email address. So one of the things they did, I got an email today urging me to purchase this new book coming out August the 5th. I thought, I did. That's how you got my email address.
That's awesome.
I can't wait. Well, Dale, listen, it's been a great time. I always enjoy having you, and I appreciate you giving of your time here because I could talk all night, but I'm not near as interesting as some of the people that come around here. And you make me look good. So thank you, Dale, and I appreciate it. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
All right, man.